Good morning and welcome. This is NDTV Profit. My name is Alex Mathew and you're watching Ask Profit. This show gets you answers to all of your stock-related questions. And to that end, if you've got questions for us, you can send them on any one of our social media platforms or indeed on the number that you see at the bottom of your screen. Just remember to tell us your name as well as where you're tuning in from. Now, let's take a look at where the markets are right now. And in fact, you have the benchmark indices that are trading just about flat, having given up quite a bit of the ground that they gained at the start of the session. In fact, we're off the high point of the day and we're trading more or less where we ended. But don't count out a rush later on in the session. This is something that we've seen consistently all through the week. There's been considerable buying in the last half, and particularly towards the end of the session. That took place yesterday as well, and we hit all-time highs. We are trading above that level as things stand right now. The broader market's trading with gains as well, and you have the mid-cap index that's up about 0.2%, and you have the small-cap index that's up about 0.4%. The market breadth tilted in favor of the advances. Even on the benchmark Nifty 50, in fact, you have 32 stocks that are gaining right now and 18 that are losing ground. Which are the stocks that are in focus today? And you have, in terms of the sector performers, you have IT, which is gaining once again, and this is on the back of the Accenture results that came out overnight, and this was viewed as neutral to positive from the perspective of the Indian IT companies, and seemingly the worst might just be over. Let's see how things pan out. Of course, a lot depends on what happens in the US economy, and we've been watching that very closely. What else is panning out? And this also has to do with economic news, but this is coming in from China. We've been speaking about that all through the week. And certain measures being taken by the central bank as well as the government in China in order to bolster the economy there. That's having a bearing on metal counters. The metal pack is once again gaining in trade, up about 1% or thereabouts. You have the oil and gas pack that is also doing well. BPCL, incidentally, is the top gainer on the Nifty 50. Now, let's delve into the focus of Ask Profit today, which is Neuland Laboratories, arguably one of the stocks of the day. It's off the high point, but it's still up about 5%, and a significant development coming in for this company in the way of a US FDA approval for Bristol Myers schizophrenia drug. Let's bring in Varsha to tell you about the perspective here and the context and why this is such a big deal. Varsha, morning.
Good morning, Alex. So, as you rightly said, so Neuland Lab is buzzing. Now, this is on the back of US FDA approval for Bristol Myers drug, which is used to treat mental disorders. And now, the name of the drug is CAR-XT, which is a drug developed by Karuna Therapeutics, which is being acquired by Bristol Myers. Now, why Neuland is focusing today? Because Neuland has been partnered with Karuna Therapeutics since CAR-XT's phase 3 trials in 2019. Now, please do remember that BMS, that is Bristol, bought Karuna in Q3 FY24 for $14 billion, and BMS has a marketing exclusivity right for CAR-XT drug for 5 years and a patent period that's been much longer. Now, according to analysts, CAR-XT's peak sales during that patent period could go up to almost $7 to $10 billion. Also, FDA's approval was based on data from 2 studies in which the patient on the drug experienced a meaningful reduction in symptoms. Now, Q3 FY25 onwards could see a huge ramp up when it comes to Neuland CDMO's revenue for CAR-XT as Bristol starts launching the product. Let's see what Goldman Sachs has to say on this. So they've increased their target. They've initiated a buy coverage on the stock with the increased target price of rupees 9,100, which determines an upside potential of 45%. Now, they expect company's total addressable market of $100 billion in 2023 and expect to grow 13% CAGR this market for next 5 years. Now, this is mainly driven by increase in outsourcing penetration and market share gains. They are also expecting Neuland's top line growth of almost 24% in FY26 with EBITDA margin of around 14 to 18%. Now, this on the back of expansion of their Unit 3 for ramping up supply supplies of their key products in H2 FY25, and commercialization of CAR XT, which is the product that we are speaking about, and also the potential of their fourth molecule, which will be upcoming. And lastly, they are also bullish on the launch and approval of newer niche molecules in specialty API segment. This is the reason they're giving the upside potential of 45%, and also they've increased the target price. So this is all we have on Neuland as of today.
Thanks so much, Varsha, for putting that into context for us. And that is the perfect moment to introduce our guests for the day. We've got Ashish Maheshwari, who's director at Arihant Capital Market, and Rajat Bose, who's a SEBI-registered research analyst. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for taking the time. Thanks so much, as always, for joining us on Ask Profit. I'll come to you first, Ashish, on Neuland. It's up and about today, but given the note that we just spoke about, the return potential seems to be significant from this point on. Would you be a buyer, and how do you rate the latest development?
I think that 9,100 target was of old report. This is not something a new report. This was, I think this report was released in April 2024 when those prices were there, because 13,000 is the stock price, 9,100 target is unrealistic one. So in my view, coming back to this new drug launch, this is particularly very significant development for Neuland Lab, because this is a drug which is used in schizophrenia and Alzheimer treatment, and there's a big market size looking at the mental situation or mental related issues which are coming in across the world, and particularly US market. And Neuland Lab is again an interesting company, just on the path of like how MRF has given return. There's no bonus, there's no split in the stock, very small equity of just 12 crore rupees, and very low dividend also they give. So a lot of value to shareholder this company has provided over a period of time. Even we saw very good numbers in FY24 from them, where net profit almost doubled. And this year also I'm expecting they'll do almost 500 crore kind of profit. So it's still looking attractive, Neuland Lab. So stock has touched 50 high today, but all decline should be used to buy this fundamentally very strong company.
Right, so that was the focus on Ask Profit, Neuland Laboratories, but I'd like to talk about another focus. It's a moment to talk about a very important asset. No matter what your holding is, this particular asset is probably the most important one for all of us. I'm talking about the heart. Success in the stock market is not just dependent on the brain. It takes a strong heart as well. This Sunday, the 29th of September, is observed as World Heart Day, and on this occasion, we at NDTV Profit would like to urge our viewers to remember to take care of their heart just the way they take care of their portfolios. Now, on that note, it's the perfect opportunity to kickstart the query segment, and a lot of you have written in already. By the way, if you're tuning in for the first time, you should tell us where you're tuning in from and what your name is. The first question we're taking today is on ICICI Bank, and it's a relatively short-term question. And so I should come to you, Rajat, on this one. We've got Gauri, who has bought at levels of 1130, and she's wondering what levels she can look at from the perspective of the next 3 months.
Well, if it were to continue moving up, at the moment there is a little bit of profit taking that is going on in our ICICI Bank. But so long as the stock doesn't fall below 1300 level, there is nothing much to worry about. On the upside, 1360 to about 1375, you can expect. Beyond that, if it moves, then 1418 would be the next target. And definitely there should be a stop loss below either 1300 or at best 1280.
Okay. We've got a question from Rakesh, who says that he's a senior citizen. He's writing in from New Delhi. And he's also asking about a couple of banks. I've said that I will take it on IndusInd Bank, which he's bought at levels of 1,443, and Axis Bank, which he's bought at levels of 1,180. And he's pointing out that he's looking for a shorter term perspective. Does he hold or sell is the question that he's got. Since it's a relatively shorter term question, Rajat, I'll come back to you. You've already given us a view on ICICI. What can you tell us about IndusInd and Axis?
I would say IndusInd Bank from a technical point of view looks quite good. In fact, he should continue to hold on. Immediate target, once it crosses 1495, 1520, and thereafter the other higher prices can be envisaged to about 1550. So put a stop loss below the level of 1430, because around that range, 1430, 1440, the moving averages are located, especially the 50-day and 200-day moving average is located. IndusInd is a clear buy. Regarding Axis, I would say don't buy afresh, but continue to hold on what you have. Again, the same, since you are a short-term player, I would say below 1250 should be your stop loss, because that is the level where the 9-day exponential moving average is located. And use closing price and not just intraday dip below 1250 for the stop loss.
Yeah, okay, fair point. The next counter is Engineers India, and this is a question coming in from Kanak Kothari, who's writing in from Ahmedabad. Kanak has bought at levels of 175 or thereabouts, very close to that level, and of course, seeing a profit right now. EPC player, what would you say, Ashish, about the prospects for this counter? She's sitting on gains of about 1.3 lakhs.
My advice will be to book gains once in Engineers India, because from highs of 300 rupees, we have seen continuous liquidation in this stock, and like there's a lot of selling coming in from institutional players also in this stock. Though fundamentally company is okay, but in my view, whatever the PSU stock related euphoria was there, that is now subsided, and now very selective stocks are getting higher valuation or rich valuations in this space. So in my view, you are having so many other opportunities in other sectors which looks much attractive than Engineers India Limited. So whatever profit is there, you can take it from the table.
Yeah, all right. And that's the best time to get out of the stock, when you are, in fact, seeing a profit. ESAF, Small Finance Bank, is the name of the counter we're looking at next. It's currently trading at 46 rupees per share. It's got a market capitalization of about 2,400 crore rupees. And we've got Sibi, who's writing in from Chennai in Tamil Nadu, who's bought 4,250 shares at a price of 55 rupees, so losing ground here. Would like to know the long-term perspective on the stock, though. Ashish, several names available in the financial space, and some have said that the valuations are not too stretched. In fact, this is one pocket where there are still opportunities to buy. Would this be the best prospect, though?
No, I don't think so. Though stock is near 52-week low, and from 80 rupees, we have seen the stock continuously falling, and I think 52 low should be 43, 44. So it is hovering near to that only. It shows that a lot of liquidation is happening from investors across the board. Again, the problem is in this particular sector, first of all, there's umpteen number of choices which are available at very attractive valuation. So why to look at a bank which is just 2,500 crore market cap? You are having even your IDFCs and RBL, etc., which are not getting any attention. So turn of ESAB for Small Finance Bank, it will really take a lot of time. So my suggestion will be to exit from this and focus if you want to remain in this sector on frontline banking stocks only. So maybe your ICICI, Axis, or IndusInd Bank, they hold more potential than these small banks.
Okay, I'm going to give Marulappa an opportunity to tell us whether this is actually the case. He's saying that he's bought Hind Copper at levels of 341, holding 20,000 shares. Is that right, Marulappa? And your gains are 1 lakh as of now. All right, that seems to be the case. I'm not sure what the perspective is, but I'm guessing since you've accumulated so many stocks, or so many shares rather, you would like to hold for the long term. Ashish, what's the perspective on the fundamentals? We're hearing some murmurs that measures are being taken to support the Chinese economy, and that bodes well usually for metal prices. I guess that would be good for Hind Copper as well.
Yeah, I agree with you because we have seen some rally again building up in ferrous as well as non-ferrous stock both. So Hind Copper will also will do well because the first rally comes in the copper, because copper is something like which is proxy to how economies are doing. So in my view, you can remain invested in copper. Though stock is down almost by 60-65 rupees from 52-week highs, but still value is there. So the stock keeps on coming in F&O ban, which prohibit actually the rise in the stock compared to other stock. But stock is fundamentally good, and maybe in 6 months you will see 400 rupees.
I hope that Marulappa, you've got a diversified portfolio. This is 68 lakhs in one stock, of course. And I'm sure that you've got several other stocks, and maybe you can take some pointers from this show as well. Jaykrishnan has got a question on Polycab for the medium term, and he's bought at levels of 6,759. He's looking for a hold or sell recommendation. The stock is up and about today, 4.3% higher. Rajat, how does it look on the charts?
Well, now today it is performing very well, and once it crosses, say, 70, if I'm rightly looking at it, 7,300 level. If it takes out, then the next target would be 7,470, and after that 7,550 would be the target for Polycab. But remember one thing: crossing 72.75 to about 7,300 is pretty crucial for Polycab. If it does that, then definitely those higher levels will also be scaled up. But one thing I would like to say is that, about a year back or earlier, I think early on this year in January, there was a crisis in Polycab, and that crisis gave the brilliant opportunity to buy. So Polycab, even if you have to hold it, you can continue to hold it so long as its 200-day moving average at 6,000 is not broken.
I'm actually curious, I was asking about metals, and we spoke about Hindustan Copper. Rajat, I know that I've asked you in the past about whether you look at commodities. I'm not sure if you look at metal prices, the underlying, and whether you've been studying those charts and whether you're gleaning anything from base metal prices and the way they've moved. Do you have some insights to share?
You want COMEX or MCX? Tell me.
Whatever you're looking at, sir, just to give my viewers a bit of a sense of what you're reading from metal prices, because this week you've seen the metal index rise quite substantially and quite a few names are in focus, and of course the overarching conversation about China and what it's doing for its economy. But is that bearing through in the underlying metal prices as well?
First of all, the person holding Hindustan Copper, I would say that stock is trending up, going up. So it is going to go up, and I really expect that over a period of next 4 or 5 years, Hindustan Copper will do great. Much greater appreciation would be there. Regarding copper MCX future, currently it is at 860, and it is on an uptick. In fact, there has been a blast on the upside. All the moving averages have turned up, and now it is showing that there would be some kind of profit taking that might happen around the futures price. I'm talking about 1 month MPX future, which is 879, 880, around those levels. There could be a little bit of profit taking that you can expect. And regarding copper futures, even in COMEX, it looks very good. It looks very good. The similar kind of, exactly the trend, exactly the performance that you see in MCX chart. The same thing is also on the COMEX chart. So copper is on a roll.
Absolutely. And so are some of the other metals, and that's perhaps the reason why you've seen metal counters rise quite substantially. Let's talk about NBCC. Sushila from Bellary is asking about whether or not it can be bought. Sushila points out that there has been a bonus announcement as well. Ashish, what's the perspective on this one? It's already gained quite substantially, double over the last few months, in fact, in 2024.
If you see from the lows, it has tripled. Yeah. From 60 rupees, the stock has come to almost 170 now. So this is still, compared to your engineers, India, etc., this is still a better bet. Though I don't see any big upside coming in, because PSU stock is suddenly out of flavor for the market. and the market is focusing on now metal or IT or banks or power sector. So railway, defense, and PSUs are out of it. So in my view, you can remain invested here, but keep a target, say maybe 185, 190 to book gains in this stock also, because compared to other stock, this will underperform.
Yeah, considering the kind of run that it's had, as you pointed out. Patel Engineering is the next counter, Ashish, that I want to ask you about. This is from Ramesh. Ramesh is writing in from Hyderabad. He invested recently, he says. He's bought at levels of 57, so it's not too far away from the current market price. And he's a long-term investor. He's not in a hurry to sell. So what should he look at in terms of the cues that you would say, in terms of the fundamentals for this counter?
The fundamentals are okay for the counter, and over a period of time, stock has given good returns also. And infrastructure sector is also again a thematic sector. When some rally comes in the sector, then all the stock will move. Otherwise, they'll keep on languishing. So it's happening with Patel Engineering also. Last for a few months, the stock is not going anywhere. But still, fundamentals are okay for this stock. And I'll suggest to keep a stop loss and hold this stock. Maybe 55 should be the stop loss to hold this stock. And maybe 65, 67, you should try to exit also.
Okay. All right. Since we have a bit of an open-ended question, I'll take this next. Dhirendra is asking a question for everybody. Which is the stock that you would buy today, Rajat? What looks most attractive?
What looks most attractive to me? Well, if you want to bet on a safe wicket, then ITC is the choice, because ITC has embarked on a fresh uptrend, and it is likely to continue. Other than that, some of the stocks, I personally hold some shares of this company, that is Deepak Nitrite. Even in today's session, it is doing pretty well. But there are lots of counters that you can actually look at, but then I would say bet on ITC. That is the best thing to do, because even if it goes down, it bounces back, because after clearing 500, 510 range, ITC is headed for 540.
Okay, 540 is the level that you should watch out for. It's time, gentlemen, to hit the rapid fire segment that we do on this program. And I understand if you need a couple of seconds to think about the stock that I mentioned, but do keep your answer as concise as possible, and we'll fit as many as possible over the course of 2 minutes. Devika from Chennai has bought Kalyan Jewelers for the long term, bought 1,700 shares. The stock is currently trading at 714. Profit is 10.8 lakh rupees. Ashish, would you book or would you hold?
No, I like to remain invested, because the gold prices are moving up. These companies will do well. Keep a target of 850 for exit.
Okay, Rajat, RVNL is the name of the counter. We've got Shiva, who's bought at levels of 560. 3,000 shares have been acquired. No movement for the last 3 months is what he's saying, but he has actually lost ground. Would you hold on to this or not?
Ideally, it should be sold if it falls below 480, but it is in a downtrend. If one wants to sell, that's one's choice. But I would say hold with a stop below 480.
Okay. We've spoken about Hind Copper, but the question is on Hind Zinc. Hindustan Zinc is the name of the counter. Gotham is asking about it. Bought it for a price of 507. The stock is in the green and it's above his buy price. Rajat, would you hold on to this?
Really, I would hold on to this. It has actually, the downtrend has been reversed and it is going to go up. 50-day moving average is at the current price. So hold on with a stop below 500.
All right. We've got Shivam who's asking about Kamdhenu Venture. Any view on this one, Ashish?
The stock is also a trading kind of bag. In my view, I don't have any particular view or recommendation.
That's fine. Astral Poly, would you hold at this moment? Satesh from Pondicherry wants to know. I believe let's pull up the chart. In fact, so would you have a positive view on Astral Poly? Bought at levels of 1,904. Ashish?
Yeah, I'll remain invested. I'm bullish on this.
Naveen is asking about investing in Amara Raja for a relatively short-term period. Rajat, on the charts, does this make sense? The stock is trading at 1,346.
Yes, one can continue to hold on. Amara Raja looks good. It can be continued to hold on, because the all that you have seen is coming to an end, and the 200-day moving average is close by, so it will bounce back. You can continue to hold.
All right. On that note, Rajat, as well as Ashish, thank you so much for joining in, and happy Friday to you. Have a fantastic weekend. That brings us to the end of this particular edition of Ask Profit. It's been an absolute pleasure bringing it to you. Watch out for an exclusive conversation with Ajay Singh of SpiceJet at 2 p.m. today. And we've got lots else lined up as well over the course of the day. All of that and more you'll find on NDTV Profit.